Hey, hi everyone. So let's look at this problem. The problem is single cycle check, and it's a graph related question. It's a kind of a difficult. Okay, so the category is difficult and graph and all, but we will try to solve it through a normal array way. Will not go into a graph complication. So let's look into the problem. So the problem name is single cycle check. So we have given one array, and in this array we have to identify in this particular array is there any cycle exist or not. If it exists, then give it true. If it doesn't exist, then return false. And there is one condition when we are visiting when we are trying to find the cycle. Every index should be visited at least once. So if you see here in the array, array is visited exactly once before landing back to the starting index. So when we are checking the cycle from, so basically this cycle, right, it will not like 3 to 3. The cycle will be like, if it is starting from 2, it should add and end at 2 also, right? So let's say to go to 3 and all that, and it should return to 2 only, and every index should be visited. So that is the question. Now let's take one example and let's try to solve it. Okay, so I've already written some examples and let's see how it will work. Okay, so I'll take first example is this one, right? So we have one array given 2 3 1 -4 -4 2. Now from 2 it will go to 1 2, so 2 is reached to 1. Now from 1 it will go to the next index, -4 it will go back, so -4 will be like 1 2 3 again 2, so it returned to the 2. From this 2 it will go forward, so 1 2 3, right? From 3 it will go to the third position, so 1 2 3. From this it will again go back to the backward, right? So 1 2 3 4, so it reached to the starting index, and it covered all the index in between when the when this jumping is happening in between, right? So it's basically have a cycle, so it should return a true, right? But let's take this as an example, right? So if -1 is there, 1 and -1 and -1, so if -1 is like go back, right, it will go back and it will go to this -1. This -1 will go again back, this -1 will go again back. If we start from 1, it go to the next, it go to the next, then again -1 go to the -1 only, then again -1 go back. So there is always a, it will never going to visit all the indexes, and it will always have some loop in so always there, right? So this is one situation when it should return false, right? And leave this, I think this by mistake I added. Now this is also one good example. Let's say if you have -26 or 26, right? How you will handle, because the array size itself is only 5, right? It will not going to cover this -26. So where what you do, there is a concept of mod, right? So basically what is this? It basically reduce your value to to basically in between some size. So for example, if let's say you have 10 and you want to limit this 10 to only 0 to 2, so what you do, you basically do 10 mod 2. So basically what this mean is, it will divide it and it will return the remainder. Okay, so the remainder will be 0. Okay, for example 11 mod 2, so remainder will be 1. So it will only going to be in between 0 and 1. So let's say if you try with 14 and you try to 2, right, it will going to return 0 again, right? So just it will only going to be a value is always going to be around 0 to 2. It will not going to outside from 0 to 2. That is basically a mod, and we use this mod sign and it will return the remainder. So when we divide 10 to 2, it will it's a dividable, so it will return remainder 0. But when we divide 11, the remainder will be 1. So this way we can handle this situation, right? So now here I have taken one example and explained all that. Let's write one code quickly. Okay, so we have given an array. Now the first thing what we will do, you will have one value where we'll get the length of the array, and we store it, and you will be using it later. And we'll initiate one index with the 0, and we'll take one current index that we will keep tracking when the jump is happening in between, right? So this current index also initially will be 0. Now we'll start one for loop, and the for loop will be like the IDX will always going to be IDX we have to iterate till n. So that means if it reached to the n, it means it visited all the indexes, right? So this is done. So now IDX will go to till n, and once it reaches, the while loop will break, and I'll explain what is next going to happen. So once this is done, the next thing is, let's assume there is one method that gives us the next index wherever it's going to get jumped, right? So we'll update our current index with that particular. So let's assume that this method will give us the next index. Okay, there I will pass the current index, I will pass the current index next basically the value on that current index where we have to jump, and we'll pass the total size. Okay, now this will give us the next where it is going to get jumped, right? And we'll put one edge case here. If the next index, okay, so when we are jumping right from in starting and we have to reach again to this, then only the cycle exists. But let's say if it started from this and it didn't reach to this, but it reaches to 3, right? So basically which example I'm taking, this one, right? So if I start from -1, it goes to -1, then again it reaches -1, right? So it reached the starting index, but these two is not still unvisited, right? So basically our IDX will be IDX will not be equal to the n, so it is not going to be equal to our total length. It means that all the indexes is not visited and it reached to the starting index. So basically here if you see, current index is equal to 0, it reached to the starting index, but our IDX is not equal to, so basically IDX is this is not equal to n. Okay, so basically this means is that we found the cycle, but it didn't iterated over all the indexes. So basically we'll return false here, right? But let's say if it done and if all the IDX it covered and it came out from the loop, right? And if the once it came out from the loop and current index is equal to 0, in that case we know that we found the cycle, so we'll return true. And if it also didn't executed, then it means we didn't find any cycle in it, right? Now let's implement this get index method. Okay, so this is a little tricky because we have to handle few use cases, edge cases here. So let's take, so we'll do a current index and we'll take one jump value and we'll take n, right? Now here our current index, right, equal to it will be like current index plus jump, right? And here as I said, we will use the mod to make sure that value is not getting overflowed, so it will always going to be in between the array index. So we'll just have a mod with the array length, right? So it will only going to return the reminder, which is always going to be in between 0 to n. And here there is one situation, let's say if it is -26 or 26. So here it is -26. So what -26 will give if we do with the 1 2 3 4 5, so array size is 5, so it will return -1. -1 will go to the 4, that is it will go backward, right? But if we, so basically let me write it down so it will make more sense. So if we have -26 and we do with mod with 5, that is our array size, it will give us the -1. -1 is basically a backward, right? And it moved backward and it reached to 4, this, right? That is one thing, it can go backward, or we can just do -1 plus 5, it will also going to go to 4. So either you can just add the n, and that adding the n is nothing, it's a move forward by whatever the total length minus what is the single, right? So that way we can handle the negative scenario. So if current index is less than 0, in such situation we will do current index plus 5 means n, and if it is a positive value, we'll just return. So this is the code. quick code for this solution. Now let's run it. It's getting executed. Oops, there was an issue with your code. Check the row output. Okay, let's see. So I think there is some, let me check what is the problem. So here if we see, we have this and that. Okay, this is correct. Correct index is correct only, and this also is correct. Here I will return the false, and here returning the true, here returning the false. That is completely fine. Here we have a current index, and there we added a jump, and we did the mod. This is perfect, and we did this and did this and did this. Okay, I think all seems okay only, but let me retry. Okay, so it's getting out of source. Okay, oh yes, so this index, right, we have to keep increasing also, so it's going in a infinite loop. Very silly mistake, but that's fine. Okay, so we are increasing idx should be always less than, okay, I think we have kept it outside the loop, it should be inside the loop. Okay, so I think now it should be executed. Yeah, so if you see, all the test cases is passed. If you submit the code, yeah, so it executed. So this is about the problem statement single cycle check. So in this video I have talked about a graph array, how you can use and simple brute force to get the solution done, but the next solution I will cover the graph, how you can use the graph data structure to solve this problem. So thank you so much.